Hey, what's happening? Good morning, everybody. It's Robert Phoenix here, and I am running terribly late, as they say, over in jolly old England. Terribly late. I had a late night. Speaking of late, I had a late night last night. So I went out in the early evening and went to the gym and worked out, which is good. It's a good thing. But when I work out at night, I get all like really pumped up, and I had a very pumped up kind of day yesterday. I had a really high energy day. I got a lot done yesterday. Let's put it that way. So, for all you Harvest Moon people that are coming out here in October, I secured our space for Stephen Kent to perform and have his concert. It's going to be on Saturday night. It's not going to be on Sunday night. It's going to be on Saturday night. It's a very, very cool little space here in Fredericksburg. I can't wait to have him actually play inside this space. It's Steven does his best work in big kind of at times ambient rooms. Not too ambient because you get a lot of rhythmic intensity out of that didgeridoo. But this kind of fits this criterion of kind of ambient and also with a little bit of dead space. But it's really, really cool. It's going to be at the Fredericksburg Historical Society, and it's actually an old church. So we've got that done. We've got the venue, which I've been working on, and sealed the deal yesterday. Got some other stuff happening in the hopper as well. And then last night, after I worked out, I started getting to my website, got into Facebook. A lot of stuff going on over there on Facebook. Oh, look who's here. The golden one. Come on, let's go. You want to come over here? He's got his own landing spot. His own landing pad. Jasper's Landing. No, here he is. There's the guy. He just can't help himself. He's got to get in on the party. Anyway, so I started working on my website, robertphoenix.com, with some much needed, long overdue updates and upgrades. So working on that. Got a few more things to do. And once I'm finished over there and have the format the way that I like it, I have things that are popping in a way that they haven't popped before. Then I'm going to start to work on another website, which is going to be astrology related, but with a different slant. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up robertphoenix.com. That's still going to happen. But I want to have a bit of a different angle, so to speak. Anyway, I was up till like 1:30 working on the site, and I was kind of jacked, kind of cranked, right? I was kind of cranked in a natural way, not in a white powdery sort of way. No, not that. I was just cranked. So then I went to bed, and I just tossed and turned and tossed and turned and tossed and turned, and I started to watch videos in bed, and I was watching the 10 most dangerous roller coasters in the world, 10 most dangerous water slides, all that shit. There's this ride in Florida called the Slingshot. I don't know if anybody has ever gone on the Slingshot or done the Slingshot, but apparently they have a camera. Like the camera is in a harness, and it will capture your entire slingshot experience. So it's two people, and they're in like a carriage, and they've got big harnesses over them, and this thing is like a giant slingshot, huge giant slingshot, and they pull this thing back, and I didn't see it until I actually saw it, but they pull this thing back, and it was mostly kids, and it fires up into the air. It's like you're being pulled back and you're just shot into the air. And I would say, well, I know they were selective, but a lot of these kids passed out during this slingshot ride. Like they would just black out. There you go. And then they'd like wake up at the top and they'd flip out. Anyway, the slingshot. I wonder if I would do that. I mean, it is trippy because you're just sitting there and they yank you back and they shoot you into the air. You're just flying, and all you see is sky, like you're shot out of this cannon. And then you reach the apex and you come all the way back down, and then you sling it. You keep doing that until eventually it stops slinging. You know, I did something like that one time. It was at Great America, and it's this ride where they crank you up in the air, and then they put you perpendicular with the ground, and you're in this harness, and then they drop you, and then you fall, and then you hit the bottom, and then you go zooming forward. And I'm not sure I would do that again, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a time when I was a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Right now, not so much. So I'm just waiting for people to kind of show up here. And you will. Again, I apologize for the late. I was working late last night. Working very late. And then I was just wired from working. That's how it works. That's how it works. I did also see a really cool movie, really cool documentary about a person I had no idea that this person even existed. And his name was Andy Paris, and he was the bubblegum king. So this guy, really interesting story. Grew up in California and was the son of Greek immigrant parents. And they didn't have I got another documentary to tell you about too. They didn't have a pot to pee in. There's like a documentaries going on. So I'm working, I'm always like, churning and filtering. Anyway, they didn't have a pot to pee in. So eventually what happened was, he was very smart, this guy. He learned about 4 different languages. And he went to business school, and then he dropped out. But then he wound up going to Mexico, and he figured out how to, he figured out how to, what are you going to do? You need to make up your mind. Why don't you go back to your other seat? Go back to your other seat back there. He figured out this bubblegum thing. So he was getting the gum acacia from Mexico, and there were a few pieces of bubblegum around, but not like it was really valuable. Like when bubblegum first came out, it was super, super valuable. And this guy figured out how to mass produce it. So he became the bubblegum king, Andy Paris, and he made a fortune off of bubblegum. His picture was everywhere. He was blowing bubbles, judged bubble blowing contests. And this guy, he was a total playboy. I mean, total playboy. Went to Hollywood. He dated Marilyn Monroe, but they went on a date. He was a good-looking dude, very genteel looking. Dated Marilyn Monroe, but he definitely played the field and was involved with a Mexican movie starlet, beautiful woman. This guy had beautiful women. Let's see what's going on my screen. Okay. That wasn't a glitch. That wasn't. I just had to increase the speed of my Wi-Fi stream. Anyway, this guy was incredibly successful. He became friends with not Marilyn Monroe. Young Natalie Wood gave her some bubble gum for Miracle on 54th Street, taught her how to blow a bubble, all that stuff. And he was very successful. And eventually, the IRS tore him down. They tore him down. They ruined this guy. He ruined him. What was really fascinating was that nobody ever saw this guy sweat. Like, even when he was going through the stuff with the IRS, it didn't get him down. It did not get him down, according to his family. And, man, it's just like, that's a really powerful spiritual lesson, is when life is, like the IRS had set up camp in this guy's office for 2 years. 2 years, can you imagine that? Morning, it's like their fucking employee. My God. Blows my mind. Morning. You become friendly with these people, bring them donuts, bring them coffee, and at the end they ruined them. And the reason is because they don't want people getting a leg up, man. That's why. They don't want people getting a leg up at all. At least not then. Now it's probably, I mean, it's like there are controls inside the system, let's put it that way. But this guy handled his demise beautifully. I highly recommend it. It's a documentary called The Bubblegum King, and it's on Amazon Prime. The other documentary that I saw, and I promise I'm going to get into Epstein here, so just give me a minute. This other documentary I saw, I had no idea that this happened. It's a documentary called The Americants, Amerikants. And apparently there was a group of Americans who moved to Russia just during and after the Depression. It was like, oh, well, let's go to Russia because they're going to have work. And they did have work because Henry Ford started to build automotive plants in Russia. Henry Ford was a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist, man. So all these Americans went over to Russia. Not all, but a lot. And they started to work there. And they had baseball. They had a baseball team. They had baseball teams. And it was all fine. It was all peachy. It was all good. But then Stalin started to become Stalin. And he started killing everybody. And he killed the majority of these. He left the women. He left the breeders. He killed the men. It's a chilling. First of all, I had no idea that there was a wave of immigration to Russia because there was theoretical work there. It was like, wow. It's called the Americants, and it's one of these tragedies of American history because once they were there, they couldn't get out. I mean, some of them got out when things started to get very, very heavy. Well, the inklings of things started to get heavy. But once they were in, they couldn't get money to get their visas or their passports. They couldn't travel to Finland. They were screwed. So in order to get money, they had to take on Soviet citizenship. Man, the Americans, check it out. Great, interesting, chilling documentary. But the bubblegum king, I had no idea. It goes from McAllen, Texas, right down there by the border. Ruined him. It lost everything. Lost every single, and he was nonplussed for the most part by the whole thing. And then he got into vending machines eventually. The IRS took everything. They took it all. They took it all. Because the guy was dealing in cash, and the Mexican suppliers wouldn't take checks, so he's dealing in cash. But he's also doing some other stuff. He was bringing cigarettes up from Mexico, selling them on the side too. He got a little greedy. I think they got him in that shit. Anyway, it's an interesting documentary, to say the least. All right, so the topic du jour is Jeffrey Epstein, so let's get caught up. Here's the latest. Apparently, Rusty Shackelford, who supposedly is John McAfee, videotaped somebody that looks a lot like Epstein going back to the island. That's number one. Number two, there is a credible witness who supposedly saw them swap out Epstein. And there was a van and somebody dressed in what looked like green military gear. And pulled up the van and essentially pulled Epstein, extracted Epstein out of that prison. It's a prison for all intents and purposes in Lower Manhattan. It's a federal prison in Lower Manhattan. Supposedly it's worse than Guantanamo. Now, he was under 24-hour suicide watch, suicide surveillance. There's no way that guy could commit suicide. There's no way at all. None whatsoever. None. First of all, apparently the ceilings inside of his cell 8 feet tall. 8 feet tall. Jeff Epstein was what, about 5'7", 5'8"? You can't move the bed. metal frame built into the wall, apparently. And even if he got up on the bed, he's still too short. These sheets are not made out of material that you can tear and then tie and then create a noose. The sheets are apparently heavy-duty paper, like material. If you were to do that, it wouldn't work. The material would snap and break, even with little Shrimpy Jeff. And then there's nothing else inside of that cell. Nothing else. So there are a couple things that happened during that period, his last theoretical waking hours. There was, the cameras went off. Of course, the cameras always go off until they decided they want to show us his likeness, right? They want to show us the guy on the gurney. How many times have we seen these shootings? And the videos are great, like the Walmart video. Are you kidding me? We get one still frame of the Walmart video. That's it. It's a bunch of bullshit. One still frame. The guy looks like the Loch Ness. You know, it's like the same photo quality as the Loch Ness monster photos. It's like, what? What's doing there? Is that a gun? Right. This is Walmart. Most sophisticated security systems in the modern day retail space. And we get the Loch Ness photo of the supposed shooter. But when it comes to Epstein, oh boy, we got full color. You know, oh, look at this. Look at this. And then Epstein's coroner is, well, the guy supposed to do the autopsy, is the same guy that did the autopsy on Lee Harvey Oswald. Can you fucking believe that? This guy is still around? What was he, like Doogie Howser or something? He must have been, what, 19 years old when he did that? No, he was probably a little older than that, but not much. I mean, the same guy that also did the Bobby Kennedy and the Martin Luther King. I mean, this guy, he takes on all the high profile coroner cases. He like, when it comes to celebrity autopsy, you hire this guy, apparently. And I guess he only works on, like, celebrity autopsies. Anyway, so we have this photo of Jeff Epstein, and it's like, what? It's so clear and so defined. Oh my God! See, he's dead. He's dead. Jeff Epstein's dead. So now we've got this video, this Shackelford video, which is supposedly John McAfee. And Epstein being taken back to the island. You think he has some wonderfully reminiscent moments? Oh God, this is where I slept with so and so. Oh yeah, and over here, this is where we had the adrenochrome shakes. You know, do you think he has those kinds of wonderful moments where he's just strolling down memory lane? So why is he there? If he is indeed there, is it because he's going to show them where everything is? Is that what they get? Do they get the secret stuff? The secret sauce? Because they've got a ton of stuff already. I mean, how much more do they fucking need in this guy? They have a ton of stuff. They've got 2,000 pages of documents. They have this Virginia Jeffery firing off names like she's reading out of the phone book. You know, they've got tons and tons of material, listening in material, NSA material, right? Promise software, hey, we're going to collect data material. Oh, Jasper. He's going into a bathing session right now. They've got all this stuff. And then there are moles inside the CIA who are connected to these Mossad. And there are moles inside of there. They're getting mole material. They're getting mole meat. You know that, right? They're getting mole meat. So they have plenty of material. Trust me. They had another case. They've been working on this guy for a long time. What are they trying to get to? Are they trying to get to the super secret tapes? Didn't they have those, by the way, with Wiener, Carlos Danger? Didn't they have that on his laptop? Oh, what's going on there? What we do know is that people associated with that laptop are killing themselves, theoretically. So I don't know if that's what they're there. That's what some people think. Some people believe that he's still among us. Isn't there there's like a Christ motif now with Epstein? There's a Christ motif happening. Jeffrey Epstein resurrected. He didn't die. He didn't die. He was resurrected. You know, so part of what they wanted to do, apparently, is that there was a plan for them to have their seed disseminated into young virgin women. Young virgin women. That was part of the deal. That was part of what they were doing. They had a lot of other stuff going on inside. But if you kind of understand the program and what these elite, so-called elites will do, is they'll go around and they'll find women and they will fornicate with those women and they'll track those women. They'll impregnate those women. And then they split. It happens all over the place. It's been going on for a long time. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, that's what they do. And apparently that's Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton. Winthrop Rockefeller is supposedly Bill Clinton's father. And it makes sense. Why would some hick from Hope, Arkansas, make it to the presidency of the United States of America? And I don't think Bill Clinton was overly bright. It wasn't based on his own morals. You know, how do they pick him out and say, oh, you're the one? And of course, he's got Hillary the handler. Yeah, it's because he's got Rockefeller seed. That's why. So these guys wanted to take it to another level. They wanted to get really, really beautiful young virgins and impregnate them. And then hold them around until they got the babies. I don't know what, weird shit, right? I don't think they were going to drop them back into private circulation once that happened. I think they were looking at farming and creating this kind of, master kind of version of their own master race. And Epstein was involved in that, amongst many other things. But that was one of the things that he was into, what they were into. So what are they trying to get here? What are they trying to get? Here's what I think. I think what they're trying to get to is they're trying to get to the financial stuff. That's what I think. Because I think they've got tons of incriminating. Is there more incriminating evidence than what Alan Dershowitz has? Maybe. Maybe. You have to ask yourself again in the case of Anthony Weiner, what good has it done? Cynical me, ? Asks. But I think they're going after the financial stuff. That's what I think. I think that's where the traction theoretically is. The traction. I know he's dead. Some people say he's in Israel, that the Mossad snatched him. Some people believe that he's back in that island, but I don't think he's dead. There's too much. But I do think Trump was involved in this. I think Trump was involved in giving the orders to get him the fuck out. That's a federal prison. A federal prison. Who runs a federal prison? The Fed. It's not the state of New York. It's not the city of New York. It's not the county, Manhattan, or whatever. No, it's the Fed. Who runs the Fed, theoretically? Not us. Not that fairy tale. No. The boss man, the orange guy. We looked at that on Sunday night, and his fingerprints are on it. And there's that Neptune conjunction with Mars Venus in his chart. I ran across this photo today. I don't know if it's, how do I say this? I don't know how valid it is. But it's an interesting photo nonetheless. And it is Ghislaine Maxwell, or what could be Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, I got an asterisk next to this photo. I'm not saying that it is, but it is a photo that apparently was associated with two of the other kidnappers, theoretical kidnappers of Madeleine McCann in Portugal. Of course, those kidnappers look suspiciously like the Podesta brothers. So this crossed my screen, and here we go. So this was one of the artist's renderings of a woman that was supposedly with the men who supposedly abducted Madeleine McCann. If this is true, it does look a lot like Lady Ghislaine. A lot like Lady Ghislaine, who should be the real 007, no doubt. So, who knows, man? I could say that that could be true, based on that photo. It could very well be true. Very well be true. All right, let me check in with the with Chatlandia. Let's see how you guys are doing, and what your thoughts on where Waldo is. Also, this Jeffery Epstein. Let's see what you got going on there. Epstein Zorro Ranch video, places deserted. Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I saw that Zorro Ranch video. It was kind of creepy. Those guys in True News are kind of intrepid. I like them. That guy Doc is actually really funny. He's very, very... And Rick gets it. Rick Wiles gets it. I believe he gets. He understands. It's a very interesting channel on YouTube. If you haven't found True News, I highly recommend it. They're Rick Wiles has a past with Alex Jones. He used to be on the Alex Jones show a lot, about 10 years ago, and then he had a falling out and left Alex. But he's a pastor. He's like one of these Chuck Baldwin guys. He's a pastor who's committed to theoretically the truth, right? He's pretty good. But that guy Doc actually is very funny. Very, very funny. So they were out there on Zorro Ranch peeking around. Man, they had the, kind of the creepy music in the background. It was well done. It was when they had started, then they heard this dog barking, woof, 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 and they had to run away from the creepy looking place. Would you expect it not to be creepy? Right? It's got to conform. Form follows function. Let's see. I still say they pulled Bourdain out of deep freeze. The problem with Bourdain is that he died he died overseas, right? He died in France. And wasn't he cremated? Wasn't he cremated? You got to remember, these people, they have billions of dollars, and they could hire makeup people. They could hire people that do double. I mean, they have unlimited resources, and it wouldn't be that hard for them to fire up a reasonable facsimile. But I've seen the Bourdain stuff too. But Bourdain theoretically died overseas, and I don't think he was brought back. If he was, it was in an urn. Let's see. Maddie's parents are well dodgy. I'd agree with that. McCann's parents, I think they're in on it. Someone told me they got news reports saying Ghislaine committed suicide August 19th. Oh, thanks for that, Joan. Let's see what else we have here. They are purple when there's lack of oxygen at death. Joan bringing the science today. Nice job. I've heard that Robert was some Texas billionaire, just like Elvis. There are going to be Jeffrey sightings, and Epstein religion. Maybe they'd get him out of the way so they could get rid of him. Could be. I thought about that too. Yep. Beth Berry. Hi, Beth. Anyone else think Epstein looks slightly different from live Epstein? Yes. Yes. Hey, Steve. Nice to see you. Promise. Yes. Promise was thanks to Robert Maxwell. That's right. Who stole it basically from Danny Casolaro, who was and Michael Reconsueto. That was the other guy, Reconsueto. He's the other guy who was involved in that. But Danny Casolaro was the promise guy, also known as Octopus. That Epstein, yeah, he does look a little like Bourdain. I'd agree with that. Walmart has facial recognition software in the algebra aisle, but the other photos are used. I know, really? Right. Totally. Totally. Who is this coroner? Yeah, he was also the coroner for JFK. The guy's a fixer. He's a total fixer. What else do we have down here? They could have killed his clone. Check out Sloan Bella's channel on YouTube. Very interesting video about Madeline. Madeline Ghislaine. Oh, Madeline McCann. Okay. True News has some good stuff on Epstein's breeder program. Yep, they do. So, yeah, you know what's really funny about this Epstein thing is that if this were like the 1970s, people would be doing like parody songs about Epstein. They'd be doing, because the 70s did shit like that. There were parody songs. There were funny songs. Nobody does that anymore. People don't do parody songs, really. Not the way they used to. But if it was the 70s, we'd be making fun of Epstein's supposed. It's now it's really funny. I saw this meme, which was the FBI has now classified conspiracy theorists as domestic terrorists. What does the Epstein death have in common with people on the right and the left? Both people on the right and the left believe that this is foul play, that there's something fishy here. So now both people on both the right and the left they're actually thinking that there's a conspiracy here. Like, okay, so let's create this conspiracy theory equals domestic terrorism. And now everybody's a terrorist. Because pretty much everybody's believing that there's like something fishy in Denmark, as they say, with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. So I guess we're just going to keep watching this and following where it all goes, so to speak, right? And see where it leads us. As of now, theoretically, here are the updates. Ghislaine Maxwell might have committed suicide. Possibly. Jeffrey Epstein might have committed suicide. Possibly. Let's see what else. Glasses are really scratched up. Jeffrey Epstein was seen at Pedo Island, captured on video by think about this. The whole thing's fucking weird. You've got supposedly this guy Rusty Shackelford, who is supposedly John McAfee, who's capturing video of Jeffrey Epstein. What a world we live in. What a world. It's crazy. It is crazy. John McAfee linked to Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein, now part of the witness protection program, or who knows, maybe they're going to get him up to a moon base on Mars. Who knows? Who knows what that's going to be about? But we're going to follow it because it's an important story. Somebody posted on the Sunday night show where it's like, oh, don't we need to get a life? Don't we need to get a life? Isn't this Epstein? No, the Epstein piece is big. It's a big piece. And he connects so many different nodal points with this whole thing that we're compelled now to follow it through until its exhaustive end. And that's the way it is. Because the other realities are not as appealing. Trust me. So we're going to keep our high beams on, and I'll continue to research, like I know the rest of you will as well, because you guys come up with some interesting shit too. What else we have? Let's see. Distraction. Wouldn't the Fitbit on Epstein have been helpful? Absolutely. The media is messed Epstein really dead. What message did they want to send? Not so much the public to their own minions. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole Epstein thing, I always thought that the people that would feel the heat the most would not be the high level people, but the mid level people. Because those are the people that would not be as protected in some ways. And you would see them maybe begin to blow a gasket or two. Anyway, we're going to continue to follow the Jeffrey Epstein story. I'm going to also start to talk about what's going on in Hong Kong, and I'm going to hopefully have a guest on the Friday show who's on the ground in Hong Kong, where the situation is getting worse and worse and worse by the day. So I did the charts for Hong Kong. I was supposed to do it on Sunday night, but I got caught up in the Epstein stuff, just like everybody else. But they're over on the Facebook page, over on the Sunday Night Astro Live Facebook page. I've got a couple. They're very telling, actually, very, very telling. So I think that's it for today's 15 Minutes of Flame. I will endeavor to get back at the between 8 and 8:30 slot tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get some sleep tonight. Not in a bad way. I was working. I mean, I actually get on rolls because during the day I get a lot of calls, I get a lot of interruptions, and basically between 11 and 2 a.m., 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., there's not a lot of people trying to grab my attention, and everybody else out there in the world is asleep. I find it to be a very productive period. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've always found that time to be extremely productive. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. So you know the drill. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to discern what's possible. If you haven't signed up for Harvest Moon in the Hill Country, it's starting to get shrinky, meaning that we're more than halfway there. We are more than halfway there for the amount of people that I think would be really comfortable in that setting. So if you want to sign up, I would say we're out of Mercury retrograde. It's a good time to get involved, jump on board. It's going to be cool. It's going to be very cool. You go over to my website, robertphoenix.com. I got a whole sidebar there, and we got you set up for Thursday night. Not a problem. All the way through to the glorious, glorious harvest moon on Sunday night. That big harvest moon in the sign of Aries. Be dynamic. All right. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to step on what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Have yourself a great day. Thank you, Chatlandia, for showing up, and thank you to everybody else who watches these videos. And I think there's more of you than YouTube actually lets on or shares with me. It's always heartening when I see people that are new and subscribing. Feels like it's working. All right, have yourself a great, great day. A fantastic day. Stay cool out there, okay? Stay cool. Stay very cool. Because it's hot as hell. Let me tell you. It's hot as hell. We're gonna hit 105 here down in Texas. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.